Beauty, yes. Seductive, no. Alright? Because when you are dressing seductively and you want to attract a godly man, you cannot put up a bait like that and then be surprised at the man that you're attracting. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I am giving you 5 biggest mistakes that I made in my singlehood and in my dating season. Okay, so before we get into that video, guys, thank you so much for all of you that have subscribed. I am so grateful for the 100 subscribers mark. I am grateful for the small wins. I'm celebrating the small wins because God would give me more if I am grateful and faithful in the small and in the little. And I'm so grateful for all of you that have been giving me your feedbacks. If this content is blessing you, if this content is relatable to you, if this content is challenging you, these topics are helping you, please make sure that you comment down below in the comment sections so that I can be able to see it, and other people can also be able to see your comments, your suggestions, your opinions, your feedback, and we can be able to socialize and talk more, all right, in the comment section. So thank you so much. If you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe before we get into the video. Like this video, it helps the video, it helps the channel. It costs nothing to you, but it helps the channel. It is everything to this channel. Okay, so let's get into today's video. Guys, I am giving you 5 biggest mistakes that I made in my singlehood. 5 biggest mistakes that I made in my singlehood. Now, to share your achievements is, but to share your mistakes is a whole nother level, and I am so grateful for courage and confidence that I'm able to share this with you. And the reason why I'm sharing my biggest mistakes with you is that because I want to maybe help this. I hope that it will bless you. So number 1 mistake that I made is that I made this big list and these expectations that I had of the man that I wanted to get married to, and I actually wrote those expectations down in that list. I have it even now. I think I can even show you. I don't know whether you can see. it. Yeah. So it's not a big list, but it is a list. It's a list of what I wanted in a man, and there are about 10 things. I don't know whether I can't show you. I can't show you this, but this was my list when I was single, and there's all these kind of things that I wanted in a man. I wanted him to do this, to look like this, to to have a relationship with God, to have a vision, can lead this strong personality, and all those things, ready to settle, can challenge me. And I had additional lists, taller than me, handsome, and all those things. That was my list when I was single. All right, and they are not bad. Having a list is not bad, but a friend of mine said that when you're having a list of a man that you want or who you expect to marry, you are actually limiting God. You are putting a limit to God, that he can't do beyond that he can't give you what is not in your list or what is not in your preference. And it's all bad to have preferences and wants and desires in your heart, but I realized that my list was actually getting in the way of God revealing his will for my life, because there is a difference between what you want and what you actually need. I realized that what I wanted was not what I needed, and God was so gracious enough and was so, in his wisdom, was able to disrupt my thoughts and actually give me what I needed and not what I wanted. All right, so the list is not bad. Having a list is not bad, but be careful and surrender your list to God, surrender your preference to God, surrender your desires to God, because he actually knows them. But when you surrender them to him, you're actually making room for God to come and have his way. You're making room for God to come and talk to you about you, about your future, about what you need, and about his will for your life. All right. So that was one of the mistakes that I made. I had a list, and actually I was so focused on that list to the point that I was missing out on my husband, because my husband and I met 10 years ago, and we dated for 3-4 years, I think, and then we broke up. Because the reason why we actually broke up was because of this list, because I thought that he didn't fit into this list. So all these years I had been missing out on him. I had been missing out on the friendship. I had been missing out on our relationship, just because I had an idea of what I needed and what I wanted, which was actually not true. And it actually took God speaking to me, talking to my heart, to actually break and remove that, cloud that had blinded me, and that list that had blinded me. So making a list is not bad. I am so grateful that God actually intervened, and we are actually turning a year into marriage, and it's been an awesome 1 year. This September, yeah. And I am so grateful that I listened to God, and I stopped being stubborn, because I was so stubborn. He actually would and pursued me for all those years that we were apart, but because I was so prideful in my own thoughtful ways and in my own way of thinking and my own ideas, I missed out on all that. I was missing out on all this, but everything works together for good. And I'm so grateful for where we are right now, and for the 1 year that God has given us. And so my encouragement to you is, you have your own list, yes, but surrender to God. Give it to God. Make room for God to actually have his way and show you his will in your life and for your life, because he actually knows you. He knows your today, he knows your tomorrow. He knows the kind of man that you need, the kind of a partner that you need. He knows the purpose that he has over your life, and he knows the person that can be able to handle that purpose, the partner that you actually need for this life. All right. Number 2 mistake that I made is I had assumptions. Okay. And I'll tell you, because I was assuming things that were really not there. So when I was waiting for a husband and for a man, and I was in that dating season, any man who would show me any kind of nice, any man who would show me any kind of concern, or even be nice to me, I would assume that he is interested in me, and I would assume that he wants to date me and he wants to be in a relationship with me, just because he opened the car door for me, just because he called and asked me how I was, just because I realized that this man can actually be good and nice to a lady, and then they're not even interested, they're not even there. I'll give you an example of one case, and I'm saying one case because there had been several, like 2 or 3, where I had assumed that this guy is into me and he was not. And so this particular incident, this guy I was in the leadership in my church. I was a youth leader in my church, and he was actually my boss. He was like senior to me, and so he would call me, and he would, when he's calling me, of course he's calling me for the job. Maybe I had to do something, he wanted reports and all that. So, and of course he wouldn't call and just ask, oh, did you do what we agreed to do, just immediately after me picking up. He would be like, how are you? You okay? So how was your day and all that? And then he goes to the business of the day. And my assumption, like my mind would go from 0 to 100 real quick, just because somebody asked me how I was doing and all that. And I would, ladies, I know you can feel me, where you assume, just because this guy is asking me about my day and all that, you are already in your mind and in your head. Your mind goes very quickly into the future. You are already seeing things. And let me tell you what happened. 3-4 months later, I think 5 months later, he announced to the team that he was doing a wedding. Shock on me, the shock that found me. Because 1, I didn't even know that he was in a relationship. 2, I didn't know he was planning for a wedding. 3, actually 1, I didn't know that he wasn't interested in me. 2, he was in a relationship. And 3, he was planning for a wedding. And that shock, I took time to recover from it. And I taught myself, like, I had to have an adult conversation with myself. And I said, when a man isn't interested in you, it wouldn't take 3-4 months or even 1 year, 2 years for him to tell you. One thing I realized with my husband, when he was proposing to me, or when we were now coming back together, was that when a man wants something, he wants it. And when a man wants and is interested in a woman, they know what they want, and they will go for what they want. And it doesn't have to take them that long. If they know, they are sure this is what they want, they go for it. And I miss that. I used to assume. So my encouragement for you today, do not put meaning, or do not make things mean things that they don't. Don't put meanings into things that they don't even mean, that they don't even look that, they are not into you, they are not interested in you. If a man has not stated his intentions in you, do not make any conclusions. Do not start listening to people who tell you, because there are people who will tell you that, oh, you and so look good, especially in chat circles. And that will get into your head, and you will start now thinking, meditating, and assuming that that can be a possibility, and you actually start seeing them like that. And you know, the danger with that is, it actually prevents you. When I was looking at him like that, it actually prevented me from that guy now, the guy that I assumed that he was into me. When I was looking at him like that, I was missing out on the friendship. I was missing out on good conversations, challenging conversations. I was missing out on a lot. So you're missing out on a lot when you are assuming people are into you and they're not. Mistake number 3 is that I was waiting on this man. I was waiting on a man, and I wish somebody told me to stop waiting on a man. Because the reason why I'm saying stop waiting on a man is because I would go into places, into rooms, into meetings, into gatherings, and I am looking around to see, where is my man? Who is my man? Who is my husband? Where will I meet him? When will I meet him? And so whenever I used to go to those rooms, I would be like, and somebody talks to me, or even says hi to me, and they're not even there, but I would automatically, my mind would be thinking, is this the one? Is this him? Somebody shows an interest in conversations, and I'm like, is this him? Can we be compatible? Is this him? And I lost a lot of time looking and thinking, and just because I was waiting on a man, I was looking forward to getting married and all that. And that is a very wrong approach to it. I would say stop waiting for a man. And I wish somebody told me this. If I would talk to my single self, I would say stop waiting on a man, wait on God. Waiting on God means you are not waiting, sitting down passively, but you are actively waiting. You're serving, you are serving God, you are going after your purpose, your dreams, and all that. Because waiting on a man will have you thinking all the time that, this could be him, this could be him. And just as I said in the previous point, you will miss out a lot. You will miss out on a lot when you are just focused on him, just focused on this man, just focused on your husband and when he's going to find you and how he's going to find you and who he really is. So you will miss out on good conversations. You will miss out on great opportunities that people have to offer. You will miss out on listening to people, knowing people, learning things, learning and getting wisdom from people just because you are so focused on that. And that is exactly what I lost, or I was missing out on. And and also waiting on a man will have you in a place where you will end up even falling into relationships that are offered to you that are not God's best for your life. So you end up settling for less than God's best for your life. Because I remember there's a time that I found myself in a situationship, in a relationship that was not God's best for me, just because it came when I was looking and waiting, and I wasn't in my right place, right state of mind to even evaluate this person, evaluate his values and all that. And I was in this relationship, I was forcing things to happen. I was asking him about weddings and marriage and all that, and I realized that I had settled for less than God's best for me. That was not God's best for my life, but because I had been in this place where I'm always waiting, so when that person came, I wasn't stable enough to sit back or even step back and actually evaluate and see whether we can be able to be in a relationship and whether this person was the right person for me. All right, I hope that makes sense. And the Bible says in Proverbs 11:22, like a gold ring in a pig's snout is a beautiful woman who shows no discretion. And that actually simply means be picky. It is better for you to be single and alone than to marry the wrong person and be unhappy. You better. So stop waiting on this man, always looking forward to when you will meet him and when he will meet you. Be picky and just relax and enjoy life. Go for opportunities, go for your dreams, go for your goals, and pursue purpose and stop waiting for a man. Okay? Number 4 mistake is that I was neglecting my purpose. I was neglecting my purpose in that season. In which way? I was not really taking time to ask God and to know who I was, who God created me to be, taking time to know who I am, what are my gifts, what are my talents, what am I best in, what am I good in. I wasn't taking time to realize who I was and to discover myself, discover my purpose in God. And because I was so focused on that time, who and where and when. All right, so my advice to you, single lady that you are watching me, you're listening to me, stop sitting down waiting, and where you're sitting down and waiting and looking and all that, you are neglecting your purpose. This is the time to build yourself. I wish I knew this, because I actually wish I knew this, because there's a job that I had that I was being paid so well. And looking back right now, I was some time back, I think last month, I was like, when I was working there, I could actually have done a lot, to boost and to push me forward in my purpose. I would have bought equipment that I needed and all that, but that was not what I was thinking. So do not neglect your purpose just because you are really looking forward to get married. Okay? Mistake number 5, and I think the last one, I wasn't putting a lot of effort in my appearance. Yeah, I know, I wasn't looking my best, because I used to have this attitude and notion that, the one who will love me for me and not what I wear and how I look. And that is actually true, because your looks will attract a man, but your character will keep him. That is very true. But also, there's a verse that says in the Bible that man looks at the appearance, but God looks at the heart. Man looks at where? The appearance. How you look. So what will attract to a man, a godly man to you? Your look, your appearance. So I wasn't putting much effort into it. by the way. I wasn't, looking back right now, I wasn't, like, even makeup, I never used to do any, although I don't even do full makeup right now. But I wasn't even trying to learn the eyebrows. The eyebrows, if you see these eyebrows done, I just learned how to do them recently. If you look back at my old videos, my first, second, third videos, I never had these eyebrows. I'm just learning to do one thing at a time right now and just look good. And not for my husband, but looking good for myself. I wish I just knew how to do these things when I was single. Looking good for myself, because when you look good, you feel confident. When you look good, you feel, you know, confident in who you are, confident in yourself, you know. So I wasn't putting much attention or even effort into how I looked and my appearance. And it is important. And not to say that you now do it overboard and now you are you're looking the most snatched person on Instagram. You are beauty, yes. Seductive, no. All right? Because when you are dressing seductively and you want to attract a godly man, you cannot put up a bait like that and then be surprised at the man that you're attracting. When you're looking so exposed and all that, you will attract a certain kind of a man. You will attract those men. And once you attract those kind of men, if that man is attracted to you with the way you're looking, do not be surprised when he's also attracted to somebody else who is also looking like that, okay? So your looks will attract him, but it is your character that will keep him. Do not look seductive when you are looking to attract a godly man. Yeah, that's my thoughts and my conclusions and my biggest mistakes that I made. I wish I put a little effort into my appearance and how I looked and learned how to do these things early in life, and not to tone them down for anybody, because people will tell you when you look good, people will ask you, who are you looking good for? And then you will feel like you need to tone it a little bit down. But look good for yourself. Single lady, look good for yourself. Feel good about yourself. Be confident in who you are, okay? Because that's exactly the kind of a vibe that you will attract, okay? So yes, I have shared with you my 5 biggest mistakes, or the lessons that I learned in my singlehood. I hope that it is something that you can relate to. If it is, kindly make sure that you comment below. Let's spark that conversation in the comment section so that others can also join in it. Share this video to somebody that maybe you feel needs to hear this, needs to see this, and somebody who is also going through this same things. And you don't have to make the same mistakes that I made, all right? So talk to me. Let's connect on Instagram, where I'm also sharing a lot of personalized quality faith-based content, and you also get to see my life behind the scenes. Let's talk, let's engage. If you have any questions, any feedback, just drop them in my DMs and I will see it. We will talk, and may the Lord bless you. Subscribe if you have not.